hadn't been here in a while. Again, this wasn't supposed to be something consistent. This was just supposed to be something for me to do it for fun. But a coworker of mine said something to me last night that just kind of made me mad. I went to pick up something, or I didn't pick it up. I actually told the guy that we work with that everything else was done, but that one thing which I could not pick up, and I wasn't going to hurt myself trying to pick up. Well, he walks away after me and him have a talk, and we have a decent relationship as work buddies, I guess you say. And she goes, well, you shouldn't have to pick it up because you're a woman. That's a man's job. Well, we kind of work in a man's job. I mean, we don't exactly 100% do a man's job, but we do a lot of the same things as men. I do a lot of the same things they do. I pick up heavy stuff whenever other people can't pick it up, or I'll reach things that people can't reach. That's not a problem. There are certain things that I can't do because obviously either it's too heavy or just I don't have the arm span, wingspan, whatever you want to call it, to do it. Well, we got to discussing that, and I said, we are in a man's job. We should be able to do a man's job. It's because you're a woman, and you don't need to be doing any of that because you're a woman. The excuse kept coming back to you're a woman, you're a woman, you're a woman. I said, well, men can do women's jobs too. She goes, they can't because they can't produce a baby, and that's a woman's job. Okay, by that logic, that means anyone who is infertile or barren is a man because they can't produce a child. That is a biological function, not a job. Some women choose to embrace that biological function. I myself have. I have children. I have 5 of them. Some women do not embrace that. I understand that. I have cousins who don't have children, who don't want children, who would never have children. I understand that. But I also know people who are infertile or have trouble conceiving or are completely barren who have no choice in that. So by the logic of it being a woman's job to carry a child, then wouldn't that make the ones who don't want children, can't have children, or are barren, infertile, by the logic of that being a woman's job, does that mean that they are men in her eyes or what? Because I think it's a biological function that we can either embrace or not embrace. It's as simple as that. In the case of men, they can either embrace the fact that they can produce children via sperm, or that they don't want to. I mean, it's as simple as that. They're both biological functions. They're not jobs. And that irritates the heck out of me. My job is what pays me. My job is what I do. My children are not a job. They are something I chose. They are something I love. They are something I embraced. That's not my job. My job, if you want to consider that, is to be their mother, yes. But my job was not to have them. If I were to classify it, I could say my job was to adopt a child and love them. But your ability to have children does not quantify as a job. It is a biological function. A job either pays you or gives you some type of compensation for the work in some way, shape, or form. At least in my eyes. And I'm sure I'll get a lot of hate comments about it and everything. But it's just, it bugs me. I am a mother. My job was not to provide children for anyone. My job is to go to work and make the money to pay for the bills, to take care of what I chose to embrace. My biological function. My biological function was to produce children. I produce children. I go to my job to pay for the bills, and to actually supply for my children and help raise them alongside my husband, who he does have a job too. We both are paid for our jobs. We are parents. We embraced our biological functions, produced children, and we are doing what we wanted to do. Not something that somebody went, oh, you have to do this, but you're going to get this back in return for that. No, that's not how it went. We embraced our biological functions. We were able to have children. We have plenty of children. We love our children. Spoil them freaking rotten, but that's not my job. My job was not to produce the children. That was a biological function that I, myself, embraced. I didn't have to embrace it with my husband. I could have embraced it with any man. Or if I didn't want to embrace it as a biological function, I could have adopted it had I wanted to embrace that. But at the end of the day, being a mother is not my job. It is my choice. Being a mother is a choice. If you have produced children and you would like to actually be their parent, that is your choice. Just the same as putting up for adoption, getting rid of, aborting, whatever you want to call it, a child or pregnancy is your choice. My choice was to be my children's mother. It's not my job, it's my choice. And the excuse of, oh, you're a woman, that's your job. No, that does not fly with me. That was my choice. Either way, now that I've got that off my chest and off my mind, I hope everyone who watches this has a wonderful day. I'm not going to espouse political, religious beliefs on it. I just had to get it off my mind because it was my personal opinion. It's not an opinion of anyone else. It's just my personal opinion. Either way, I hope whoever watches this has a very good day. I love you all, even if I've never met you. You deserve everything in life. You deserve the kindness from anyone. Everyone deserves kindness. Be kind to yourself most of all. And remember, you are wanted here. Even if you don't believe it, you are wanted. I want you here. Everyone wants you here, whether you believe it or not. Have a great day.